It's been so long, man.
It has been.
Well, I mean, it has, but it hasn't. You know, online, we've seen each other all the time, you know?
But following each other.
You know, it was like 2014 ICC was the last time I was here, so.
But you weren't here last year?
No.
So I missed last year. Okay.
I was, let me see. I was going to, but then I quit Vertec.
Right.
Yeah. So, how are things
I've
been,
been
man?
following up on your new, very interesting profession, which is, it's pretty cool.
It's so much fun, man. And yeah, it's kind of crazy, but I love it, man.
That's what you need to do, man.
Yeah, so we're
Love
gonna
what you do, it's easier.
we're gonna set up a podcast right now. So make sure you guys check that out. Link will be in the bio. This is part of the vlog, so say what's up to the vlog.
Hey, everybody.
So yeah, I just finished editing yesterday's vlog, and gonna throw that up, like, you know, maybe after we have our discussion. I wanted to talk to Jeff Nepper or someone from Qanare. So
Right.
Be cool. Bam. Rafey.
Hi, Zack.
What's happening, man?
Another conference, another year, another conference.
So are you what ICCs have you been to?
I think I missed one 2013, but I've been
The first one?
the second one.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been to all of them except the second one.
Okay.
So showing up every year, amazing networking opportunity, wonderful people, and you get to learn so much every time. I mean, last year, one of the guys from Australia, he came to the conference. He's like, you know, you think you're smart, but then you show up at the ICC and you realize, oh my God, there is so much more to learn. And that's absolutely, it's an amazing product, amazing community, and a wonderful experience coming up every year. So I've made it a ritual out of it, basically, showing up every year.
Dude, well, you know, first, thank you for taking the time to talk with me, and you know, I hope whoever's listening can kind of get some value out of this conversation that we're having. And you know, I definitely can attest to that. I said it last night. You know, there's going to be some brilliant minds here,
Yes.
and to just rub off from them, and you know, yourself too. You know, you've been a big Ignition user for a long time, and why don't you tell us a little bit about Qanare Engineering and what you do and the type of projects you work on?
Well, I personally started out with Ignition as part of my master's degree at NJIT. So I had my one of the classes had a project where I had to integrate stuff. So I ended up using Ignition to integrate to a lab robot and a PLC with a conveyor on it. Kind of got my first job because of Ignition at Qanare Industries out in New Jersey. Stayed with them about almost 2.5 years roughly. Then I moved back to Pakistan, set up Qanare Engineering. We started by offering system integrators here in the US, Canada, and Australia with CAD services and Ignition SCADA design services. We've been we've kept on doing that for the last almost 5 years now. So it's been an interesting journey. It's had its ups and downs. I mean, it gets really tough once you set up your own thing. But the advantage we've had is we're the only system integrators in Pakistan with the gold certification there. And with partners here in the US, we're able to kind of bring to a table the ability to add more hands to the project when need be.
Flexibility.
So, yes, flexibility. So that, you know, if they've got a project or they're struggling with the timeline, they can bring us in. We can, you know, remotely we can convert projects from a previous, let's say, factory talk view to Ignition, or a red line to Ignition, or whatever they want to convert. So it enables them to move the project along much more quickly and much more effectively in terms of resources to the company.
Are you able to share any of the system integrators that you worked with?
We've worked with just very recently. We've worked with
I know we were
Automation Station.
We were gonna work together when I was doing my thing at Waterhammer.
Right.
And so, Integration Station. What'd you say?
Automation Station.
Automation Station. Okay.
So,
Integration Station.
So we've worked with them. We've worked with obviously with Qanare Industries, with IC Engineering in New Jersey.
Okay.
Ross Automation again. So multiple system integrators. We have worked with another company that I can't disclose the names because of non-disclosure agreements, but that was one of our biggest projects.
So would you say that you're kind of a competitive advantage? And you know, I know one of the things that you were talking about was that, the cost of living there is much less in
Yes,
Pakistan.
yes.
So naturally, engineering hours are going to be less expensive.
Exactly,
So
exactly. And then the biggest advantage with what we've been able to offer is the experience I've had of deploying or working with ignition in the US market. See, with some companies, the issue always remains that they're not familiar on how
US
these
does
things
business.
that the US does business, basically what's expected of you when you're going to some other company. But we have, as I personally, as I lead the company in my team, it gives me an advantage where I've worked in the US, I know how the culture works and what is expected in terms of quality of the design and projects.
Yeah.
And the communication skills, that makes a huge difference. The ability to communicate from a programmer to a programmer of what is required as per
Right. Dude, well, I know I've seen some content on LinkedIn that you put out, like around the textile industry
Right.
and some of the challenges that they face. Would you
Yeah.
be able to talk about some of those challenges?
Well, the textile is the biggest industry in Pakistan. We've been working with textile manufacturers getting to trying to deploy an ignition solution, but that industry seems to be hesitant in making that leap towards an. I mean, it's not just ignition, but any solution as of right now. There's a lot of pressure, like in any other manufacturing industries, there's a lot of pressure on the cost of utilities, the cost of labor, and efficiencies of the machines. I mean, there's a lot of waste in the textile industry because it involves a lot of water, involves a lot of steam, involves a lot of compressed air, a lot of gas, and electricity. So there's so much cost involved, but at the end of the day, if you're unable to monitor all that expense, it's going to become difficult. So we've been pushing it to the textile industry. It's difficult to make the inroad as yet, but we're working on it. But something I really want to share, if I may change the topic right there.
Free to share.
One thing I was here at the conference last year and I got one of those sessions on MQTT and we kind of moved from MQTT. I'm like, okay, if you can use MQTT, send it to the cloud, you should be able to read it from the cloud, obviously. So started playing around with Alexa and the Amazon's Echo product,
Okay.
and we've managed to figure out how to read ignition tags from Alexa. So which creates a whole new thing. See, in the past, what you needed to do was basically take out your phone or open up a web page on your, or an application on your computer. With Alexa, it changes the experience. So you can just ask Alexa for let's say machine speed or
Yeah.
machine production or the amount of downtime you've had in the past 24 hours, and Alexa would reply you with that. So if they used to say that information on your fingertips, but now it's at the tip of your tongue. If all you
Wow.
need to do is ask, and you'll ask
Yeah.
and you shall receive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like that.
Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna actually steal this spot over here to get in the shade.
Okay.
But that's one thing that Gary Vaynerchuk, which from obviously the industry that I'm kind of pivoting into, I am a big follower of, and so I think that's definitely the way things are headed. And if you follow Elon Musk, the next evolution is at the tip of your cortex.
Yes.
So, it's really cool to see guys like you doing cool things with platforms like Alexa, platforms like Google Cloud Platform, and who knows what Facebook is going to do, or what's the other one, Siri and Apple. So just pushing the technology boundaries. So, what would you say is coming up on the next few years besides the Alexa?
Well, I can tell for us, it's obviously going to be the Google Home development. So once we're done with the Alexa thing, we're planning on starting work on integrating ignition with Google Home.
Okay.
The industry, I mean,
changes so fast.
It is so fast. I mean, it just works. I mean, for example, right now, I mean, we're having this discussion that this is a novelty right now, having the ability to communicate. But as people become more and more busy, I mean, just having that information without having to take out your phone and look for it, just asking for it would be much more valuable. So the industry changes and it changes fast. I mean, the amount of work, if you've been attending the conference, so see the Discover galleries have increased the amount of people showing up. The people who are integrating with ignition has also changed. We've got Seek here this year. We've got a few other IoT companies coming in and showing their integration with ignition. So that, I mean, it's going to become a more and more integrated product. moving forward.
Yeah, one of the other companies that's here is Flow Software, which
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've heard of or seen their vendor booth here yet, but they're one of the concert. They're one of the conference sponsors, and they also helped sponsor my attendance here. And so what they do is they connect to any data source and aggregate that data into time buckets, which you can configure 1 hour or 5 minutes or 1 day, and it stores the aggregate of that time bucket, so then you can report and compare from different data sources across different facilities and present that information in a dashboard, web page. And so it's a pretty cool software, and it's interesting that they started very similar to the way that Inductive started, in that Graham was a system integrator from South Africa, and saw a need for a product and developed it himself. And now they have Flow Software, and now they're trying to enter in the United States market. And Graham reached out to me after seeing one of the videos that I did with Walker, and he likes the concept. He called me like the Casey Neistat of our industry, and so I was kind of humbled by that. But so I do want to mention that for anyone who's listening, if you guys want to learn more, it's flow-software.com. And thank you, Graham, for helping us out. So other than that, what other key things? I mean, I know it's only the first day at lunch, and I want you to get back and to do your thing, but what are the other things, like your key takeaways so far from the conference?
Well, for me, always, every year, is the networking. I mean, that obviously enables us to get business.
Yeah.
But it also enables me to learn much more, because every time you talk to what's the latest project you guys are working on, and you realize how people are solving the problem. See, industries may change, but the problems roughly remain the same, and the solutions can be co-applied. So if somebody's solving a particular issue in the wastewater industry in a certain way, you could apply that to textiles. And if you're solving a certain issue in the textile industry a certain way, you can apply that to food and beverage.
Yeah.
So that, just getting to talk to people and asking them, I mean, sometimes even questions that you'd think are silly, but just ask the question, and you'll find out something new every time.
What are your top 4 industries that you would serve? I know you probably work with all of them, but what would you say top 4?
Top 4 has been the food and beverage. The second one is kind of like automotive. Third is manufacturing of textiles, I could say. And the primary is other system integrators. That's number 1 for
whatever
us,
they serve.
whatever they're doing. So that has tended to be our number 1 business, which is system integrators.
Okay. And how can Rafey, thank you so much. And how can someone reach out to you, or how can they find you?
Well, I'm available on LinkedIn at Rafey, Rafey space Shahid, Shehid. That's the easiest way of reaching me. The company webpage is www.qanare.com, and the email is info@qanare.com.
Thank you so much, Rafey.
Thank you so
much. Have a beautiful conference.
Thank you, everybody.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.